Alright, what you see here is a Casablanca Delta 2 ceiling fan. Now, this isn't just your ordinary Delta 2. As many people know, Panamas and Delta 2s are probably the most common Casablanca fans aside from the Four Seasons 3 or the Four Seasons 2. However, there are some that have common unusual finishes or uncommon ones more and some of which are Ferrari red, which is more so on the rare side, verde, chrome, brushed nickel in some cases, or more so for the Panamas, but the other two is not as much, or the three, champagne, bronze, and of course what we have here, gloss black. Now the gloss black is definitely very sought after. So the fact that I got this, I'm pretty happy about that. And this fan, surprisingly, has gone through the possession of many collectors. Originally, this is the one that Dan Spiffy Newman had way back in 2015. So if you guys look up Dan Newman Black Delta 2, you'll find this exact fan in his videos. He got this fan from Mark Castro, and then Mark ended up giving it to Daniel Groundwater. Now, Daniel Groundwater never did a video of this on his channel, unfortunately. And he actually did. I remember him posting on the Facebook ceiling fan group of it installed in his bedroom. It was like on a Hunter brass download since they both use the same type. Yeah. So then, about like 2 years ago or so, he gave it to Chandrew. Chandrew never did a video of this either for some reason. And then later on, he gave it to Brandon C. Johnson. Now, I'm not saying that they gave it to him. More likely they bought it off of him, but I'm just telling it that way. That, it was passed on to this person, so and so. Now, with it being closer to me now, with it being in Brandon's possession, I figured that was the perfect time to try to get it. Since I wouldn't risk it getting damaged being brought over to my place. And such, so since it wouldn't have to be shipped. And yeah, I've got it from Brandon. It's actually this fan was made on September 13th, 1994, 13 days before his birthday, so it's kind of a coincidence. Forget what fan it was made of that day. I'll show it up close in the tag. But yeah, having it up in person, it is kind of a throwback for me in a sense, because I remember seeing this fan back when I first started collecting, and now that I've had this exact fan in my collection, it's just pretty astounding, honestly. Like, it was right around the time that I first got the white and brass Delta 2 from Mark, and I saw this one. I was like, oh, if I could ever get one of these, I'd love to put it in my bedroom. I still would put this in my bedroom. It's just with the bedroom that I have, it would not match at all. If it was my own place, I'd like put some more dark furnishings, and I'd probably put up this instead. But fortunately, it's a lot of lighter wood to it with blue, and I feel like the brushed nickel goes better. But this is definitely a fan I can see myself putting up somewhere without a question. So it's whenever I get my own place, it's definitely a fan that's pretty good. 95% sure this is going to be installed when I get my own place. But yeah, on camera it looks to be in really nice shape. It really isn't. Luckily, since in black, that kind of touches it up a bit. As you can see, some of the blades have a little bit of scuffs here and there. But for it to be tossed around through 6 collectors and the original owner, it's honestly in pretty good shape. I did Sharpie the blades down on the edges quite a bit. There's some spots that I missed, but it's in a lot better shape than it was. There's a lot of paint chipping on the sides, which I know is kind of common with some gloss blades, but it depends. Now, the pull chains are not original to this one. These are ones I added to it. Pull chains obviously would have been brass originally, but since when I got it from Brandon, it had a black pull chain for the light, I figured maybe just make this one black with a Sharpie and switch the knob up with a newer black one. Also, I think it looks a lot nicer for that instead of the discolored or the corroded looking brass pull chain. I think it looks more appropriate. And it does have these brown cardboard type vents, and I like the look of them, but I really hate how easily they break. Like, I was just trying to dust them off with wipe it very light with a wet cloth, and some of them started giving out. So yeah, and basically what made me take over a year to do a video of this was that I did not have a hang through for it in black. That was the non-ripped version. I wanted to use one of these types on it. I figured it'd look more appropriate for this one than the plain one. Also, I didn't want to put a paint one black. Plus, those ribbed ones usually get a recalled one, so in case it was a fall, I wouldn't want this one to fall, since it's the black one. The hang through on this is from the Hermosa, so this one I know for a fact it's not recalled, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it's definitely a really unique fan of this combination. I really do like it. Let me go ahead and show the lights. Also, for those wondering why the lighting looks a bit different, I shut off this light above because with this fan being gloss completely black. I'll show it after, but let me test the lighting. It does a good job, but I'm using these three here, or the two of them. And yeah, let me just turn this light above so you'll see what's the reason why. Basically, it causes a little bit more glare than I'd like to, and it kind of makes it camouflage into the background a bit. So I think I shut off this light so it makes it stand out a bit more. So yeah, let's go ahead and start off on low. Oops, turn the wrong one back on. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this for the rest of the fans for the remainder of this year, because it's actually the first fan I'm testing of 2020, believe it or not. Even though you guys are seeing this maybe around by like April, May, or June, who knows. But I might do this more for fans that the finish really doesn't show up too well on camera, or it doesn't like stand out that much. I should have done this with the Hampton Bay Cunnington 2 in black, but at that time I didn't think of it. Because the other fans, they show up, they do stand out well. And some fans, I kind of prefer having that light above it on as well, because it kind of shines light to the front of it somewhat. In some areas that the light next to me doesn't shine. But with this one, it just caused a bit more glare than I'd want it to. There's a nice low speed to it. Now, I remember when Dan got it, this fan was very stiff with bearings. The bearings were pretty stiff on it. He gave the thing a ton of WD-40 from what I remember. I'm not sure if the bearings on this fan ever got replaced, though. They do seem a tiny bit stiff to this day, so I'm guessing they never did get replaced. But the fan operates just fine, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, there was a lot of places I'd see as a kid that had gloss black fans like these with 5 blades. And it's just a childhood looking fan to me. And with it having integrated like it definitely looks more like a builder fan. So something I really like about it. Some cases I prefer it not having an integrated spotlight. That's like the only type of light that I prefer not integrated, though it depends on the fan. So those are two I don't mind, but I don't know, it depends. If it's more like a 90s looking one, then I don't mind it. But if it's like one from the 2000s looking fan, I kind of prefer that it's not integrated just because it looks a bit odd to me. Because more in the 90s that you'd see integrated spotlights, and going into the 2000s you'd see more of them without integrated spotlights. I'm not talking about Casablanca, I'm just talking about fans in general. But yeah, it's definitely a beautiful fan. Even though it's just plain black, it's just a very sharp looking fan. I'd even consider putting this in my living room. So I like the infinity where it is, and also my mom does not want a plain black fan in there. She wants something with contrast. But the main reason is spotlights on this are not in the best shape compared to what I have on the Hunter one. So it's more so that I don't want to risk damaging these spotlights on it. And that's the biggest reason. If I was to put up another fan there instead of the Infinity, it'd be the Hermosa, but that one, same case, I wouldn't want the spotlights to get damaged on it. But yeah, with this, I definitely see this going in my bedroom at some point if I was to like move into a place that I was to change up the layout of my bedroom. I'm not sure. I mean, I can see myself putting this up, but I really do like to paint them in my room as well. If I was to do like gray walls, black floor, and such, like I could definitely see this going in there without a question. But it really depends. I'm not 100% sure what my future home will look like. Alright, now move it up to medium. This may end up being a fan that goes in the living room, who knows? But probably not. I'd probably do the Hermosa or the Black Venus instead. Infinity's probably going to be retired by that point. Well, who knows? It might still be in use. But maybe like in a different spot or something. Now, this fan does have a little bit of a wobble to it. Surprisingly, it wobbles a bit less with the light on it, which is something I have never seen before. Usually, the fans that I test, they always wobble a bit more with the light kit on it. But with this fan's case, it doesn't. So I'm pretty happy that it does that because that it does it with this one, because with the spotlight, if it was to wobble a lot more, I feel it can make them bounce around and such. Now, I mean, Casablanca's fans are definitely really good quality. The newer ones are not as good as what they used to be, but they're still pretty good fans for today's market. Just some of them I'd just be careful with, but like in terms of like if it's a recalled one or not. But I mean, some of them even outperform the XLP fans from the 2000s. So I mean, there's that. But spotlights were not their best area in terms of quality, and that's kind of the main reason why I wouldn't want to install this one with the ceiling height here, because I know it would get damaged without a question. See, the one that I had that's brushed nickel, I could put down my Panama without a problem, because the spotlight, the arms on that one are in really good shape, as if they was brand new, whereas this one's definitely been used quite a bit. So now I'm not sure if there's a way to tighten those spotlights on it, but until then, it's just gonna leave it at that. But plus, I'd rather preserve the fans that are like really good ones like these for when I get my own place instead of running them out here and such. Plus, with my mom letting the birds fly around often, sitting on the blades, I know that spotlights definitely wouldn't do that well. And I don't want the blades to warp quite a bit, because all the fans installed upstairs, the blades are warping quite a bit. Though the Panama 2, well, it has 2 blades that are warping. The only one that's not warping is the one in the bathroom, because those are just plywood blades and it's so small. But that's also the main reason why I'd rather not install this. Or even a Hermosa. I just rather preserve those blades for when I get my own place and then install them. Since I'm like not even 10 minutes from the ocean, basically. It's not like near the beach, but it's like close to the sea in some ways. So there's a lot of humidity in this area. It's definitely a fan I can see like at a Blockbuster back in the day. Like some CD place. There's literally so many places I could see these installed back in like the 90s or early 2000s. I'm honestly surprised though that, well, maybe I guess back then black wasn't really that trendy of a finish, or such for higher end brands, but I mean nowadays that's something you see a lot. There's a lot of people buying black fans, but I'm guessing this wasn't that big of a trend or in style compared to like white and brass, polished brass, and antique brass back in the 90s. It definitely does depend on the brand. Yeah, let's go ahead and move it to the high speed. Yeah, and for those who don't know, back when I lived at the old apartment before we put up the Hampton Bay carousel in my living room, there was a black fan. This fan reminds me of quite a bit. It wasn't a Delta 2. I know it wasn't a Casablanca at all. But what I do remember is that it had a gloss black switch housing. Blades were gloss black, though they were kind of rounded like, I'm trying to think. It's kind of like the Hampton Bay Reddington's blades, where like the edges are kind of smoothed out, but it wasn't completely like that. It was more like, it was kind of like Hunter blades, but it was gloss black. It had standard blade arms, polished brass, and I noticed canopy was black. Now I think it might have had brass rings or brass settings. That's just the one thing I don't remember. But the one thing I do remember is the vents were like circular ones, like a Casablanca Mercury, or and like what you see on those SMC knockoffs. So I'm guessing it was an SMC knockoff. You'd see a lot of those with just the horseshoe brackets, like the Kmart ones, but it looked more like one that had. But the motor housing was shaped more like something like this. Like there were so many fans like that in the '90s, so it's hard to tell. I'm not a fan. My mom ended up donating to a thrift store. It was like back in 2002, so it's long gone now. It had no light on it either. But seeing this one up really reminds me of that fan quite a bit. The only difference is the vents are a little bit different in the blade arms and the blades. I mean, they were kind of similar to the Hunter square tip blades, but they weren't that like flat. They were kind of like rounded somewhat at the edge, at the tip of it, more smooth and such. But kind of like how like the Infinity at the edge is kind of smooth a little bit, but not that much. Probably like some Kmart SMC thingy without a question. This though, I mean, it can't have been a Casablanca, so the only other fans I've seen that are like similar to it are like the Kmart SMC thingies. Though I honestly do think it was a SMC of some sort. In SMC, they did a lot of different variations of the fans in the '90s, so it's probably one of those. But yeah, back to this fan though. Air movement's great. Yeah, I feel like it should be going just a tiny bit faster, but if the bearing's being a tiny bit stiff, it goes a little bit slower than it should. I mean, the Panama 2 in my bedroom definitely goes a tiny bit faster than this, so this one definitely, I need some lubricant. It probably just needs a little bit of oil or something, but I'm not using it at the moment just for testing purposes right now, so it doesn't really bother me. I mean, it still moves a great amount of air, don't get me wrong, but I do feel it goes just a tiny bit slower than what it should. Also, I'm basing this off of like the other Casablancas I've tested that are 5-bladed ones too, like the Panama 2, the Hermosa, the Palisades, the Aria. Those all went faster than this one does on high speed. So it definitely probably needs a little bit of oiling or something. I mean, with the blades on it, doesn't seem stiff, but when the blades aren't attached to it, the flywheel definitely seems a bit stiff when you try to spin it by hand. Right. So I do spin down. And I'll show in reverse. I just rather wait for it to spin down than reverse it. Yeah, and when Brandon did a video of this, for some reason, one of the spotlights was separated from the K4B. It actually wasn't broken that's what he wrote in the description of the video, but what it was is that those little hexagon bolts at the end of it, I tightened them up. One of them had loosened up completely, which is why one of them was dangling when I first showed it in the video of when I got it. Hence why he showed it with just a regular schoolhouse globe. But yeah, it's definitely. I'm honestly really surprised that the spotlight didn't break after being tossed around through collectors so many times. Now, I did want to show this with the some rosewood blades I had bought off of eBay, but several canceled as he actually already sold the last one to somebody else. But since I already showed the Hermosa with rosewood blades, I figured maybe just show this one. I was going to show this with black blades and rosewood blades. So just for the time being, it's just going to be the black blades only. That was the other reason why I was kind of holding off on getting the video of this one done. Because I saw a combination of a black dog 2 just like this, with K4B and everything, 5 blades, except it had rosewood blades, and I really liked how that looked. Although I already kind of got an idea of how I'd like it in person by seeing it with the Hermosa, so yeah. At least I got to see it with the Hermosa. That was the one I was really interested in seeing with rosewood blades. Alright, now for reverse flow. I'm not going to leave it on high for too long on reverse, just because, same thing with any Casablanca fan, I usually try to keep it on reverse very little, just because I don't want it to blow up dust to the smoke detector there and sets off the alarm. Highly doubt it'll happen, but just to be on the safe side. Whoops. Guys, just one pull of this. I think I actually put it back too low. There we go. Yeah, but another place I could actually see these being installed in is like an arcade from the 90s and such. Restaurants, arcades, movie theaters, like at the lobby or something. Hair salons. There's just a lot of places I could see a fan like this installed. Alright, I just kill the power tool quickly. Yeah, and that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.